Happy Tuesday, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Boy, do I have a lot to say. And you know I can talk, but apparently my last post or video really struck a chord with quite a few people. So much, in fact, that they decided not to just leave me a comment because I don't think there was room for all that they wanted to say. So they emailed me. And I heard from people on either side. I was chastised by people that wanted to remind me, in case I wasn't aware, that Social Security was not set up as a retirement fund. It was mainly to go along with other things like their pension and their savings. People were not supposed to rely solely on Social Security, in case I wasn't aware or if any of my subscribers weren't aware. So I'm just passing that along because I'm sure there might be one or two of you that aren't aware. I think the vast majority of us do know that that's how it was set up. The problem is, and I tried to explain this to the few people that wrote to me to tell me that, is that yes, even though people know and are aware, it doesn't make it any different. The situation is that is all they're going to have, whether it was meant to be that or not. And now they're faced with trying to figure out how to survive on that. And that's what I was addressing. I wasn't encouraging people to just rely on Social Security, but if that's all they have, they want to know that there's some options. They want to know that there's some hope. And that's what I'm hoping I can do. And then on the other side of the coin, I had a few people write to me because they were so afraid of leaving a comment because of the drive-by subscribers that might, go off on them. They wanted to tell me how much they appreciated that I was discussing this because they are in that situation and they think it's going to get even worse. And I agree with them. It's already bad, but it's going to get much worse. And we can't just ignore it and just say, well, they should have known better, or that's not what it's set up for. That's not going to change things. It's still, it is what it is. People are relying solely on Social Security. That's a fact. What are we going to do about it? Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, it's not my problem. Well, it's going to affect all of us in one way or another. So I'm sure you may have family members or people you care about that are going to be in this position. It would be nice if people could collectively come up with some ideas to help these people rather than just chastise them and let them suffer the consequences. Because, not all people are in this position. I say this repeatedly because of bad choices or neglecting to save. A lot of people did save, but things happened. People went through devastating divorces that left them penniless. People suffered from medical issues and had bills up to here, again, leaving them penniless. People went through various things. There's, lost jobs, helping out other family members, the economy, living paycheck to paycheck. There's so many different factors that come into play. So it's not just a matter of they were neglectful or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. The bottom line is, I think I read 40% of retirees are going to rely solely on Social Security. It's just a fact. And people that say, well, it can't be done, what do you think those people are doing? They're doing it. People have been doing it for many years. Like I said, even my grandmother and my husband's grandmother did it. Yeah, they probably did have to have some help, some assistance, because they couldn't live solely on that. And that's why, we need to address this issue because it's not going to get any better. It's getting progressively worse. We're going to see more and more people relying on this. And I think I said in the last video the median amount was 1665, I believe, but I looked it up today and the average, which is different. There's the median and then there's the average. The average Social Security retirement benefit as of February 2024 is $1,862 a month, or $22,344 a year. You can live on that. Yes, it's modest and things will be tight, but it is doable. And people are doing it right now and on much less. So when people say it's just absolutely can't be done, you're delusional. No, I'm not. I'm seeing it being done by many people. And I've been going on YouTube, listening to other people give their stories, not only telling you how this happened and that they're in this position, but they're sharing their tips on how to get by on that amount of money. So it's actually quite inspiring. I really encourage you, if you're in that position yourself, to check those stories out. There's so many, just Google it. Is it possible to live on Social Security? And stories will pop up. But some of the good are the better suggestions that I've gotten from these videos. If you are going to be retiring within the next couple of years and you know you're going to be relying solely on Social Security, you need to make out your budget now and figure out what you're paying now and what can go. Let's say you're living off of 25,000 a year, or 2,500 a month. You're a single person and let's say you only make 2,500 a month, which that's very modest, but I know some people that do. And you know when you retire, you are going to be making much less. What would you cut out of that 2,500 a month? Can you? Because I know a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and that's even tough. But what would you do before it happens? Don't wait until it happens. Can you find a less expensive place to live? Can you get a roommate or two? Can you move in with a family member and pay them a lesser amount of rent? Can you cut out cable bills, internet? Can you go without your car? Can you cut back on groceries? Are there any programs that you think you will qualify for? These are things you need to start looking at now so that you're prepared when it does happen. Like I've said before, I know of one lady who's living off of $830 a month. She qualifies to live in a low income senior apartment complex. They have a sliding scale, and because of how much she makes, it's still $650 a month. And I'm thinking, gosh, she only makes $830 and they're still charging her $650. And she is doing it, but that's all she has is her rent, and it includes her utilities. She still has to pay for her medical. It's not completely free. And she has food. And I'm assuming she's getting help. I would hope that she's getting help. I know she has a car, but she seldom drives it. I see her walking all the time. So I know she has some side hustles going. She's in her 80s, like I said, and she does crafts and she sells them at craft fairs and stuff. I don't know what else she does, but I'm assuming she must be doing some little side hustles. Maybe she babysits or she house sits, or there's other things that people can do. And I suggest you look into those things as well. If you're going to be living off of Social Security, try and find some other incomes, some other avenues. I highly suggest YouTube, and I'll talk about that too, because that can be a nice little side hustle for you to bring in just a few extra dollars. Everything counts at that point. When you're living on that much of a limited income, every little bit helps. So, but yeah, I was really surprised at how angry some people were. It wasn't a lot. There was only a couple, but just the fact that they had to send it in an email because they had so much to say. And I get it. I understood where their anger was coming from, but I just wanted them to understand it's not going to go away just because you're angry about it and you disagree with these people doing this. The fact of the matter is it's happening, and now we have to deal with it. Or I guess you don't. You can ignore it and bury your head in the sand. But the rest of us who have family members or loved ones that are going to have to do that, we want to help them. We're trying to help them find a way that they can do it. I don't know about people that are getting much less than that. So when I say yes, you can live on Social Security, honestly, I do mean people that are making at least 1,600 or more. But I imagine, like I said, my friend's 830. There's people that are living on much less and they're doing it. So I do think it's possible. I would like to sit down and make a budget and see what it would cost. I think your biggest expenditure, of course, is going to be your rent. And in that case, that's where I think you see a lot of people deciding to live out of their vehicle. I can see doing that, absolutely. And I watch a lot of those shows. I enjoy them very much. But as one gentleman pointed out a few videos back, you have to think about the end game with that. How long can you actually do that when you're older? There's going to come a point in time where you can't. So if you're going to do that for a period of time in hopes of saving some money and maybe getting back into a sticks and bricks, then that's a good alternative. But if that's your only alternative, it's either that or be homeless, then you got to do what you got to do. I totally understand that. But I feel bad for the people that are going through this and they don't feel like they can talk about it without being chastised or having people come at them. That made me feel bad that people had to write to me privately and they couldn't just post it because they've seen some of the really unkind comments people make. People are very opinionated about this and not a lot of sympathy. And it's not like they're asking for sympathy. They just don't want to be berated because you don't always know their situation. You can't always assume that they just were neglectful. There are a lot of these, most of the people that I've heard from that are in that situation are in that for a reason. Something happened to cause that. So it's not like they're like, oh no, they turned 60 and they realized, oh my God, I haven't saved any money. I think I'm the only one. No, we did. We saved money. I said that flippantly in one of my videos, and people still think that I meant that. I was just kidding. I have a weird sense of humor. Sometimes things don't come off the way I mean. But I just want people to be aware that there are going to be more and more people out there that are living solely on Social Security, and there's going to be more. I was looking at the percentages of this next year. There's going to be even more people doing that. Trying to find some numbers here. I was trying to do some research earlier, and I was surprised by the numbers. It says here that only 7% of retirees, 7% of all retirees have the ideal situation, which is an income from more than one source. They have Social Security, a pension, and a savings. So that was surprising to me, but apparently those 7% feel like they can chastise the other 93%. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that it's happening and we can't just ignore it. And I wish I could be of more help. I feel like I'm very fortunate because even though we have had several unfortunate events happen throughout our life and we're not in the ideal situation that we once were, we're still better off than a lot of people. And I know that. I don't take that for granted. And that's why I feel an obligation to help those that aren't, because I have been fortunate and I have been blessed. And I would like to be able to help other people. Like I said, I would gladly turn my house into a boarding house. I have, 2 extra bedrooms. And if anything ever happened to my husband, I would turn the garage into a little apartment. I would even consider putting an ADU in the backyard and just renting out these spaces at an affordable cost for people that are in that position, because I do know people that are in that position are struggling. Um, Even family members. And I know you got to be careful. I'm not going to let strangers in and squatters and all that. I know that. We've rented out rooms before to friends, and we've been very fortunate. I wouldn't just put an ad in the paper and rent to anybody and everybody, but it's just like I said, it would be an option. So, but I just wanted to address that because, like I said, I was surprised at how angry these people were, and I know there's other people that think the same thing because it's been repeated almost on every video that Social Security was never meant to be the sole income for people to retire on. And like I said, I do think the vast majority is aware, but it doesn't stop it from being what it is. It's happening, whether they meant that to be that or not. It's just the way it is. So we have to figure out a way to help these people. You don't, like I said, if you live your own life, but for those of you that care and want to, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you don't agree and you're angry at me, don't write me a letter. I don't really care. I thought it was, a lot of work. This person, the letter, I was like, my gosh, this person was really angry. I didn't even read it all because I was like, oh my God. Yeah. But I got the gist of it. So yeah, just don't waste your time. I'm going to let you guys go. I do want to film another video about doing some side hustles that maybe will be beneficial for those of you that are going to be relying solely on Social Security. So stick around for that. I should be posting that later on this evening. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I need some dinner and maybe some coffee. So I will see you guys later on tonight.